So this week in my private community Paid Pro, I was asked what the difference is between a $1,000 website and a $10,000 website. I think most of us get caught up on those lower end websites where people are paying maybe a few hundred or a few $1,000s, and we don't really know what it's going to take or what we have to do different to start charging higher rates for our websites. And really the big difference between these two things comes down to just a couple different factors that I want to talk about in this video. And the first ones are the most obvious, right? And that is scope of the project. The bigger the project, the more you're going to charge. Now, typically speaking, for websites, we make these decisions based on how many pages there are, if we're doing design and development or just one or the other. And then, of course, any additional integrations, illustrations, providing assets, content. All of these things go into the scope or how big and extensive a project is going to be. So the simple answer, first off, is if you want to earn more or get closer to that $10,000 range, you need to build bigger websites. But scope is not the only determining factor when it comes to pricing your website at higher rates. So the next thing that's going to make a huge difference in how much you charge for these websites is the value of your time. So if you're just starting out, you're a newbie, you don't have a whole lot of experience, the value of your time is going to be much less than someone that has been doing this for years and years and years, has a ton of great projects under their belt, great case studies, and their skills are just at a higher level. The value of their time is going to be much higher, right? And so you can expect that as you commit to this career path for the long term, over time you're going to be able to command higher rates. And you can do this because over time your reputation grows as well as your skills. Now, the reason that people are willing to pay more for someone with a good reputation is they can go into a project with you knowing that they're going to get great work. It's going to alleviate any stresses that they might have about you being not legitimate or taking off with their money or not completing the project or screwing them over in some way. Having a good reputation is going to put your clients at ease, and so they're willing to pay to alleviate those additional risks that come with hiring a web designer. And so the value of your time and your reputation are all going to play a role in how much people are willing to pay to work with you. Now, time value is an interesting thing because a lot of times people will pay 10x, 50x, 100x for someone to do the exact same job that they could have had someone do for a few $100. But the reason that they pay extra is because of the status or expertise of that person. So, for example, there's a reason that Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to charge you $250,000 to come speak for 30 minutes at your event, where you could choose your local gym rat or politician to come speak probably for free, if not for a few $100s. And so the difference there is expertise, experience, notoriety, status. All of these things allow people to charge a higher rate because the demand is so much higher. And so your goal as a web designer should be to grow in your notoriety, in your skill set, and become the type of person that people are willing to pay those higher rates for. If you're just a common web designer that's putting their work out on Fiverr or Upwork, it's going to be harder to convince people that you are that higher level web designer. Now, the next thing that's going to make a really big difference is the caliber of your client. Now, an interesting thing that I've learned over my years as being a freelance web designer is, typically speaking, people come to you with a price or budget expectation in their mind, and it's really difficult to convince them otherwise. Sometimes you can maybe talk them into spending a few extra $100 or extra $1,000. But really, if somebody comes to you with the expectation of wanting to spend $500 on their website, you're not going to be able to convince them to spend $50,000 on their website. There's just no way, because they already have that expectation in their mind. Now, when we talk about caliber of clients, when you have that higher caliber client, they're coming to you with a bigger problem, and their pain points or their needs are so great that they have the expectation that they're going to have to spend a lot of money in order to solve those problems or to get a solution. Now, the recent big projects that I've landed are all companies that are generating millions of dollars every single month. And so they have a huge budget and they have a high expectation of what you have to invest in order to get results. And so those clients already had it in their mind that, hey, I'm going to have to spend $50, $70, $80,000 in order to get exactly what I want. Now, on the flip side, I still will have local businesses that reach out to me and say, hey, we've got a $600 budget. What kind of website can we put together? And those are the clients that I typically just say, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take on your project because I know that expectation that they have in their mind, I'm not going to be able to increase that enough to make it worth my time and my team's time and to be able to allocate the resources necessary to do a good job for them. And so you need to consider the caliber of clients and understand that early on, you're not going to be able to land those super high caliber clients, but over time, your clientele is going to get bigger and bigger, and their budgets are going to get larger. And as you work with those bigger clients, they're going to refer you to other similar bigger clients. And so over time, you are going to see that your clientele and their status is going to be way higher, way larger than when you started out. So you've just got to be patient and also always have your sights set on those higher caliber clients. Now, the last thing that I'll say when talking about the difference between a $1,000 website and a $10,000 website is just the value of the solution that you're providing. And this goes hand in hand with the caliber of clients, but if you are trying to build a website so people can generate a few hundred extra dollars per month, the value of that solution is not very large. And so it doesn't make sense. It's not going to be a good investment to spend $10,000 on that site. And so you need to either find a client that has a larger problem that if you solve it, it's going to have a larger financial upside, or you need to find ways to take those smaller budget clients and add additional value that's going to drive revenue for them so then they can justify that investment. So one way that I did this is if I had a client that only had $3,000 for a website and they just told me, well, we just don't have enough sales coming in to spend anymore, I would offer them SEO work on a monthly basis, or I would offer them Google Ads or Google reviews or any different like marketing type service that would help them generate additional revenue so then they could justify that investment. And so you need to think in terms of what is the value that I'm providing and how big of a difference is this going to make for the company. And the larger that gets, the more you're going to get paid. And then you're going to be looking at the difference between not only a $1,000 and a $10,000 website, but a $10,000 website and a $90,000 website. And the value that you provide is going to continue to increase over time. So I hope that this answered your question. There are a lot of factors to consider when looking at how to price your projects and how to land more of those larger scale projects. If you want to learn more about how to price projects, how to land bigger clients, I've got a bunch of videos that are going to be really helpful. I'll link them down in the description. And also, if you want to increase your skills, connect with other web designers, and get very customized monthly trainings teaching you how to double your income as a web designer, make sure to click the link down below and go to patepro.com to join our private membership. Thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one.